I consider these trees the youth hunters, and there I am, an old man.
My name is Cameron Mitchell, and I've traveled the world pursuing my passions, but like the old saying goes, there's just no place like home. Join me as I showcase the amazing people, places, food, music, art, and culture found right here in the South. This is the Southern Life Network. All right, guys, on today's episode, we're going to talk to one of my mentors. He's a business mentor of mine. He lives here in the state of Alabama, and one of his main areas of focus that he likes to give back is to help kids get involved in the outdoors. You ask any hunting organization, you ask any state agency, hunters' numbers are declining, and everybody says, oh, we got to get the youth involved in the outdoors. But rarely, outside of maybe taking your own kid, do people really take kids hunting. My good friend Charles Herron is certainly one to put his money where his mouth is, because he has taken over 3,000 kids hunting on his property in Tallahassee, Alabama.
Trees 32 years ago, they were about that size. Now they're about saw timber, so probably time to think about harvesting. My name is Charles E. Herron Jr. I was born in Montgomery, Alabama. Came up in a middle-class family with great mother and father, and lucky to have an older brother and an older sister. And I currently live in Elmore County, Alabama, in the Rock Springs community. My main business has always been timber. I started out in high school cutting firewood and kind of morphed it into a logging business at a pretty young age. And I grew kind of slow through profit because I was so scared of debt, and grew it into a pretty decent size timber business. I first started hunting as a teenager. My father didn't hunt, so I became friends with this guy in school. His father was actually in the timber business, and so he had access to a lot of land, and we started hunting small game, rabbits and ducks and stuff like that, and then slowly got into deer hunting. The first youth hunt that we conducted here was 19 years ago, and we just did it. There were a lot of kids around, and we wanted to kind of introduce them to the outdoors, and it really caught on, really hit home with me, because I realized there's so many children that don't have the opportunity to hunt or experience the outdoors like I did when I was a kid, and so we just started doing more and more of them. We've now taken somewhere in excess of 3,600 children over a 19-year period. The whole thing centers around safety. I got 3,500 acres right here in one block that I set aside for only children. They see a lot of deer. We'll typically see 150 deer in a weekend, so they get a lot of opportunities. A typical youth hunt day starts with the volunteers, and I can't say enough about the volunteers. I seem to get all the credit for these things, but I could never do them without my volunteers. These guys have been here for every hunt. Some of them have been here for 19 years at every hunt. Saturday morning comes, we get them signed up, which is quite a process. We start preparing the food, and as we get the food prepared, we're setting up the shooting range. We've got a couple volunteers that teach the shooting class every week. We're preparing them a wild game lunch. We cook them caribou, moose, whatever we've killed that year. We set them all down. The Alabama Game and Fish Department has been instrumental in helping me with this thing. They've been at every youth hunt in force, and they give safety talks. We put the kids in 3 different groups: the ones that have never shot much or or any at all, put them in the first shooting group. Then we put another group that goes through the trophy room and another group sitting there waiting, and we rotate those kids out. Then we get back around 2:15. By that time we've had time to assign the stands because, you know, some kids have never shot. Some of our young as 5 or 6 years old. So we have to have stands that are real close for those. For some kids it's done, you know, 14, 15-year-olds that maybe can shoot 100 yards confidently. And we assign them to the stands. We also assign them guides to sit with them. And it's an afternoon hunt. We don't try to overnight kids. We're just trying to get them started, teach them about the outdoors, because in, you know, these 8 or 10-year-old kids in 8 or 10 years will be boating and making decisions on whether we keep hunting or not.
We hear something in the woods, and it's like, they're like, what the heck is that? What the heck is that? What? And something walks out. We thought it was a herd. Well, I shot it, and
Hey, if everybody wait a few more
fine.
minutes.
That's for shoot it, you're not gonna get it in time. I'm like, all right, I can't get the scope right. So I just shot it now, and it tried to jump, but then just fell to the ground.
And that was it.
That was it. And
Good
then
job.
Came over and checked it.
They're looking.
It wasn't like, he came out all by himself, and he was the only deer that we saw like the entire time. And he just like walked out, pranced, and just looked at us for a good 5 minutes. And then he started to walk away, and so she did the grunt call. And then he turned around, and then I shot him about 170 yards away, like 180-ish. And then it broke his neck, so he just fell.
No tracking required.
Nope, he just laid there. That was the good part.
You like deer hunting?
This is my first time ever doing it, so I definitely like it.
We saw this buck come out, and then we had to wait a second, and then he turned around, and then I shot him.
That's awesome. That's a big buck.
Yep, it is.
That's a big buck greenback.
So I saw a 6 doe in the field, and I was getting impatient because I found out that my girlfriend got a buck and I've never had one, so I shot it, and then next thing I know, a 10-point walks out. So I didn't, but at least I got my first deer.
There you go.
Yeah.
The 10 point will be there next year.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll
I'll
be
get-
bigger.
Maybe next year, yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Did you see a bunch of ladybugs? No? Wasp? No wasp? How many does?
What's a no?
It's a deer with no horns on it.
0.
0? All right. How many bucks did you see?
2.
2?
Yeah. There was 6 does. Like, there was like 5 baby ones, and then 1 bigger doe. Black and the Charlotte.
Did y'all have fun? You see the big bucks?
When
You get it? You shoot it? Any does?
it looked straight at us, and then Daddy was pulling up the gun, and then it started running away.
That happens sometimes.
So we saw 7 does. Wait, 5 does, and then we saw 2 button bucks.
2 button bucks and 7 days. And you knocked that one down. 1 shot. Huh? Good job. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So when we first walked up, we saw no deer. And we went in the stand, and so we looked for the front field, and we opened up the side. Then after a little bit, we saw 2 baby deer, decided to let them be, let them grow. One was a spike, one was a doe. And then we looked on the other side, and we saw 4 big deers, and they were all does. And then, so I sat up to go shoot at the doe, but then it saw my movement and it got scared and it ran away. So we gave that another good hour, maybe 2.5. so they have a side window, and right before, like probably at 4:30, we saw a huge buck, and had the gun. I didn't even get enough time to put my earmuffs on, and so it was going away, and then my stepdad, he called out like the antler noise, and it looked, and I shot it right in that moment.
Did it run off?
It ran about 100 yards.
But y'all found it.
We did find it.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
My heartfelt thanks go out to all of my volunteers. Like I say, I can't say enough about them. I tend to get all the credit, but I'll point out to anybody that I could not do it without my volunteers. They have been right there with me through the whole thing. Also have a wonderful daughter, Tara, her husband Daniel, my granddaughter Bliss, and then grandson Paul. And they've been very big supporters of me through everything. It's kind of my way of giving back. I've been very fortunate. Life's been good to me. It's kind of my way of giving back, and who better to give it to than children? It's probably the most rewarding thing I do. Just seeing the smile on these kids' face at the end of the day and see them high-fiving, and it's just a really good feeling.
3.
Thank you, Mr. Charles!
I'm Charles Herron, and this is my Southern hunting life.